again. This is why I should not be left alone with technology. I should not be left alone with technology because I break things. Very easily I break things, and I'm not touching any more notifications, I swear. I don't know what happens with that stuff. It just happens, eh? Ignore the drama, ignore the ridiculousness. Anyway, so we'll start again. I hope that everyone is finding this wherever and whenever they need to see it. I think this is important. Everyone, I hope, is doing really well and really lovely and really happy in the moment. Hopefully I don't have any more technological issues and I can just keep going. Hi again. I'm special with these things. It's all good. It loves me. It loves me. Anyway, so there's definitely a shift that's been happening. There's definitely some changes in the way that we've all been living this year, that's for sure. And we've sort of, we've gotten past Christmas and past the holiday, the big gift-giving holiday. And I think it's really interesting the way that things work. I wasn't planning on doing a live video today, but it turns out that my plans changed, not due to me. People just, change plans, which is completely fine. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm here. I guess I should be doing one of these then. Yeah, so I wasn't planning on doing one today, but as I started to think about it and think about like all of the things, that I wanted to do with this time that I have to myself, it just was like, oh, okay, we're gonna change things up a bit. So I'm gonna start doing this today, and we're gonna start talking about, because obviously we've got New Year's this week. So we're done with Christmas. We're done with all that crap. New Year's. And I feel like I've been able to sort of work on the New Year's part early this year. I think we've all been able to work on that New Year's part earlier this year because we've been through so many changes over this last year, over 2020, that it's easier to change something about ourselves. We've had to change a lot over this last year, and not due to our decision. We've been forced into these choices, forced into these different points of life and existence, because of things outside of ourselves. And now we have the chance to change something about ourselves or within ourselves that we have control over. I mean, granted, we can do this any time of the year, but obviously New Year's, people take on that whole, coming to the end of the calendar, starting a new year. And, oh, something went wrong during my broadcast. If you can still see me and hear me, I'm getting all sorts of weird things. Can you just type in and let me know if you're still watching? I think it's still going. Okay, I got a thumbs up. That's good. So this year we've had so many changes and so many issues and so much of this and so much of that we haven't had control over how we're changing and at the speed that we're changing. And I think this is a time for everyone to grasp their own will to change and to change their own lives. This is the point of the year you know, New Year's are still going. Okay, it's still going. New Year's is around the corner, and that's cool and all. And I think it's really important that we take these next few days to really reflect on what has changed in our lives that has been out of our control, but has had a positive return on us personally. We might not be spending as much money as we did in the past. We might not be just faffing our time away, you know, driving from this place to that place, because some of us, you know, it's just the way that, you know, lockdowns have happened. This last night, yesterday, even Christmas Day, our city is quiet at this time of year. Christmas Day is like beautiful and peaceful, and there's no traffic and there's no cars. It's just still, and it reminded me so much of lockdown that it was beautiful. I was like, oh, this is the feeling that I miss, is just that peace that you get from just, you can be outside and just feel connected in a different way. When you have that peace and that you feel small, you feel a smallness on the planet when you're in a state like that. And I wanted, I realized then, I was like, no, I need to go back to that. I need to go back to that time when I was able to take my time. So these next few days, I'm going to be taking my time with myself. I'm going to be just relaxing and having my own little lockdown again, and embracing nature, whatever comes. I was going to go for a walk this afternoon, and it's supposed to rain, but I'm like, whatever, it's going to rain, it's just water. So if we're taking these few days before New Year's to really reflect on how we've changed this year, we can sort of get an idea of the positives and the negatives of what we've changed and how we've changed, and take those positive aspects and bring those into the new year to sort of help us realize what we actually want to become. Now, again, like I said, you can do this all year round. You don't need to do it at New Year's, but for a lot of us, it's quite customary. It's a social construct to be able to do that. When I was just shuffling, I'll show you the first card that came up because I'll put it back in the deck, but this is the sun. It's not sunny here today, but knowing that this new year, we have the ability to create that for ourselves. And I think we've had, no sun, there goes the rain. I will go for a walk today in the rain. I don't care. The sun is our own warmth and our own light that comes from within. We are our own suns. We are our own stars. These little specks of soul and of light that come in, that's what radiates throughout our families and our loved ones and our communities and our worldwide communities, is our aspect of this and how we embrace our own light. And everyone will laugh at me because they know how much I don't hate it. It's just so overdone. It's like the love and light, right? Love and light, love, blessings, and all of this, all of that positivity. But there is something to it. We just can't stay forever in the light, because then we sort of lose ourselves in that. We are human and we stay here. So as we're looking at the positive side, and it's hailing and downpouring, as we look at our positive sides that we've learned to deal with, and as we've learned to grow, to manage this year, and we can look at the negative side as well, and the things that triggered us and the things that we need to work on. Those are really important too. Those are really important. What traits have come up, that you thought you had control over, but you don't. Where does your work need to be done? So going into this new year, I have my own words going into this new year to be, I'm not going to share those words. I don't want to influence anyone else's words. But it's always, I find it good to, a lot of people do this, is they choose a word or two words to be able to help through the new year. And they're hardcore, and they bring out the good parts in me, but they also bring out the shadow parts in me. So there is that balance. We're not just staying in the light of the sun. We're bringing out the darkness that comes up, and having to change that about ourselves. So going into the new year, looking at where we want to go with ourselves, where we want to be with ourselves. What didn't work for us last time? Where do we see the need for growth? Where do we find ourselves getting perpetually lost? I think about the times that I get on my phone and I mean to put something on my grocery list, and then I get sucked into like Facebook or Instagram. That's one of the issues that I have, and that's one of the issues, and one of the words that I have for myself is based on that issue. So it's good and it's bad and it's all of that. So think about what you've been through this year, and find a balance between the two. Find where you were the happiest, and find what really brought you down, and how you can sort of bring those two together. What word describes the value that you needed within yourself to be able to move forward when you have such a high and such a low? What was the word that brought those two together? That's where I am this year. That's where I am this week, is embracing that and knowing that I have nothing to do other than look after myself and my children. We are the world. We are our own ones. We are the only ones that we can trust, eh? So, whoa, I'm getting all sorts of like flippy cards in here. What happened? Well, I'm gonna leave him out. Her, him. Very androgynous card there. There's all sorts. So we had the sun to begin with. Welcome, welcome. Welcome sun, welcome light, welcome the world card. Which is also, it can be the universe, it can be the world, it can be whatever card comes up. This is the very end of the tarot deck and the major arcana. So it's I don't get the world very often when I do readings, but it is just this completion. It's a card of completion where everything ties together. Everything ties together. Everything is pulled up from the depths. Everything is pulled from heaven, and here you are, your own light, your own sun is in a realm of balance, of new and of old and of forward and of backward. There's nowhere else you need to be than just right there. If we look at, now this is going to get a bit more of the woo-woo esoteric kind of thing. So we've had our planetary conjunction. We've had our solstice. Our full moon is coming in a couple days. We've had Christmas. We have New Year's coming. This is such a huge place for change to happen. And if we start looking at, some of the things that I read based on very, very old, like even like old Egyptian texts and things like that. We are at the point, yes, we're at the age of Aquarius. We are at the age of this, what is it? The second coming of Christ. We are at the age of all of these things where things really need to start changing, for us to start changing, for the planet to be better, to continue on. If we want to continue on this journey, there needs to be some internal dialogue happening. That change that we need to see in the world starts with our internal dialogue. The idea of the second coming of Christ, everyone thinks that, someone's going to come into the world and save us. The only person that is going to save us is ourselves. That's all it comes down to. That love and that peace and that knowledge, all of that, we are the Christ consciousness. And as much as I don't identify, as a Christian, but I was raised with that belief system, I think it's absolutely valid. I think it's completely valid. There were some distortions in some of the stories, which is completely understandable. Our mythology has always been our history. There is no doubt in my mind of that. The idea, though, that something greater than us, something in the universe, can trigger our own central nervous systems to relay certain messages, to bring about change, to bring about our sense of selves and our own loss of control of ourselves, really needs to be addressed at this time. I'm going to keep shuffling. There are all sorts of messages that just want to come through, and I can feel it start to get a bit preachy sometimes, and I'm sorry. When this is the thing, like when I sort of just separate my mind from the words that come, I can sort of see them coming and just being like, oh, I don't know if that's going to be too preachy. I don't know how people are going to react. But who am I to give a shit about how you react to the words? This is, am I going to change myself because someone's going to react differently? Again, goes back to that inner knowing. How do we react when we think someone else is going to get hurt or someone else is going to disagree with us? All right, we're just going to pull some random cards and see what we get. Here we go. Here is our Sunday, our Sunday afternoon sort of thing. I love this compared to last week. This is much nicer. First card. So we had the sun, the world, and now we have the Wheel of Fortune. Anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. I'm gonna go play lottery. I don't know about y'all, but anytime this card comes up, I'm like, gotta go play lottery. Anyway, this card really is the embodiment of being in the flow, because anything can happen, whether it's good or whether it's bad, knowing that we have the internal compass to deal with things properly and to live within ourselves in a way that is good. The Wheel of Fortune is an amazing card. Like, I do love this card. And honestly, it doesn't come up very often, but I love it because, like, if you can see, all of the animals are studying, they're reading. They're all reading. They're all learning. They're all embracing and sort of taking in that knowledge of the heavens, Like the heavens have opened up and here is this knowledge here. it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot all about that. But again, it's embracing that good and the bad and the cycle of the wheel, because things keep coming up, you know? If we hit brakes, we're not going anywhere. If we continue to move, things keep coming up. Things keep coming up, and things need to be dealt with. And as we deal with those things, you know, whatever triggers us keeps coming up because we haven't gotten it off the wheel. When we get that shit off the wheel, we go a bit smoother, you know? Very, very important card today. The Page of Pentacles is actually quite a nice one. This is where we need to look at our life, what we've created for ourselves, and look at it with a bit of wonder. Say, wow, we've actually gotten pretty far. You know, we're pretty proud of ourselves, and there will be, you know, some new things that come along that we'll be able to look at and embrace it. A lot of people feel like the sky is sort of out there floaty, just not quite embracing the physical aspect, but acknowledging our physical selves and acknowledging our the material realm and things that we bring into our lives through energy. You know, money is energy, really. It's exchange of energy. So if we look at that, of what we put out to the world a bit more with a sense of wonder and with a bit of love, we can exchange that energy for things that bring us joy, things that help us, things that we're able to help with other beings on the planet. We can exchange that. And the other card was the Six of Cups. I like the Six of Cups too. So this is a very fulfilling card. You know, we feel fulfilled emotionally. We feel protected. We feel like we're in a safe place. Even though the Wheel of Fortune brings us different things, and oh God, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. You know, the drama and the trauma that I deal with constantly, it's on this cycle. It's going to keep coming up. But when we sort of stop and embrace what we have and we deal with the shit on the wheel, things go smoother. We're able to sort of take in, I love it that he's smelling the flowers on this one. He's able to just stop and breathe and take it in and be able to really look at things differently. So if we look at these cards for this week, as we're sort of coming up to the new year, you know, we got the Sun, the World, the Wheel of Fortune, huge, huge cards, really epic. Those are they're such beautiful cards. They're such beautiful little messages. And then these other two where we just sort of embrace what we have and we understand that we can stop and breathe, take in the world, take in the beauty of the world. What does that say to how we need to live the next year? What have we learned from this past year that we can bring with us into the next year? I know a lot of people who have been in quarantines and lockdowns have spent a lot of time with themselves. And those of you who have really made an effort to embrace that part of yourself, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. A lot of us, me included, still have a lot of work to do. And this year, I think we'll find a balance. I think we'll find a balance as we sort of move forward and we take on new challenges, but we'll be able to do it from a different place and not so reactive about it. Anyway, before I forget, I will be doing these. One of the things for my new year is to really focus a bit more on this and getting messages out there to those that need it. And I'll be doing that in different ways. So this week, one of my things to do, now that I'll be in Wellington, is to really look at ways to promote that. And I will let you guys know what that's going to look like as the new year sort of rolls around. You know, I'm trying to do some goal setting, let's just say, which is very strange. I had a reading with a friend this last week just to get some clarity on things, and he and I ended up talking for like 2.5 hours. It was epic, and so thank you so much, Morgan. If you see this, thank you. It's good to see you. But it's like all of these things that, you know, where to go next and what to do and how to help. You know, it is just the act of helping is what I need to do. However, that energy comes back. Let's look at these things. I just need to have, you know, certain things in my life, and I need to be proactive about things and just do it. Some of the cards that came up in that reading were just, you know, when you do a reading for somebody, you're like, really, that makes sense? And they're oh God, you know, and I had that moment of like, where he was just like, I hope that makes sense. I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea. So yeah, so I'll be changing a few things as the new year rolls around. So I'll let you guys know about that. Anyway, I think that's all we had. I think that was all that there was today. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys have had and will continue to have a very nice holiday season, whatever you celebrate, whenever you're celebrating, and to enjoy the ending of 2020 and welcoming in 2021. It's going to be another big year of change, to be honest. I'll have more on that, and I will see you next week, because this is part of a new thing, is me being here as much as I can. So anyway, I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I will chat to you guys next time. If you have any questions or need a card, anything like that, just need to talk, get in touch. We'll schedule in some time. I am free for the next couple of weeks, so I can do live stuff. I can do Skype, I can do Zoom, whatever platform seems to be working. So anyways, take care, and I will see you guys next time. Mwah!